Rolando Meriño, born on October 4, 1982, in Havana, Cuba, was immersed in the rich baseball culture of the island from an early age. Growing up in a country where baseball is not only the national pastime but a way of life, Meriño was exposed to the sport by his family and local community. His father, a former player in amateur leagues, was a significant influence on his early development, nurturing his natural talent for the game. From a young age, Meriño demonstrated a deep passion for baseball. As a child, he played in the streets of Havana, honing his skills with friends and family. Recognizing his innate abilities, his parents enrolled him in a local sports school at the age of 8, where he began formal training. Meriño quickly rose through the ranks, standing out among his peers for his combination of athleticism and baseball IQ. By the time he was in his early teens, his talent had caught the attention of coaches at the Cuban National Baseball School, one of the country's most prestigious sports academies. Cuban National Series, beginnings of a career. Meriño's professional career began when he joined the Ciego de Ávila Tigres in 2001 at the age of 19. As one of the youngest players on the team, Meriño had a lot to prove. Initially, his role was primarily as a backup catcher, which gave him a unique opportunity to learn from some of the veteran players on the roster. Even though he started as a reserve player, his work ethic and discipline did not go unnoticed. He quickly became known for his strong arm and ability to control the game behind the plate. Meriño's transition from youth leagues to the Cuban National Series was marked by a steep learning curve. His offensive game was still developing, but his defensive abilities were already apparent. His excellent handling of pitchers, ability to frame pitches, and quick reactions behind the plate made him a standout defensively. Over the next few seasons, Meriño's bat began to catch up to his defense, and he started to make more of an impact offensively. By his third season, he became the starting catcher for Ciego de Ávila. Career peak. Dominance in the Cuban National Series. Meriño's peak years in the Cuban National Series came during the 2008-2012 seasons, when he solidified his status as one of the most reliable and feared catchers in Cuba. He was no longer just a defensive specialist. Meriño had developed into a well-rounded player, contributing significantly both offensively and defensively. In 2008, Meriño had his breakout season. He finished with a batting average of .312, which was remarkable for a catcher, and his power numbers also began to improve. He hit for both average and power, tallying a number of home runs and extra base hits. This performance earned him a spot on the Cuban national team, where he would continue to prove his worth on the international stage. His success continued in the following seasons, and by 2010, Meriño had firmly established himself as one of the most consistent performers in the Cuban National Series. Over the next several years, he became known for his leadership on the field, his ability to work with pitchers, and his knack for coming through in clutch moments. His offensive consistency, combined with his elite defensive skills, made him one of the most valuable players on the Tigres and in the entire league. Meriño's peak performance coincided with the best years of Ciego de Ávila in the 2000s and 2010s, where they became a dominant force in Cuban baseball. The team, bolstered by Meriño's leadership, won the Cuban National Series championship in 2009 and were consistently one of the top contenders in the league during his prime years. His ability to guide pitchers and his consistent bat helped the Tigres remain competitive. And Meriño became a fan favorite in Ciego de Ávila for his contribution to the team's success. Main achievements. Throughout his career, Rolando Meriño accumulated several accolades that solidified his place in the history of Cuban baseball. Cuban National Series Championships, 2009. Meriño played a pivotal role in leading Ciego de Ávila to the Cuban National Series title in 2009. His strong defensive work behind the plate and his timely hitting were instrumental in the team's success that season. Cuban national team member, 2008-2012. Meriño was regularly selected to represent Cuba in international competitions, including the World Cup and Pan American Games. His performance in international tournaments helped further solidify his reputation as one of Cuba's best catchers of his generation. Consistent batting performance. Throughout his career, Meriño maintained a batting average above .300, an impressive feat for a catcher. His offensive consistency made him a reliable threat in the middle of the lineup, while his ability to hit for both power and average made him a well-rounded player. Gold Glove winner. Known for his defense, Meriño won several Gold Glove awards for his outstanding work behind the plate. His ability to frame pitches, throw out base runners, and handle pitchers effectively earned him recognition as one of the top defensive catchers in Cuban baseball history. All-Star selections. Meriño was selected to the Cuban National Series All-Star Game multiple times, recognizing his overall excellence and consistency as a player. Final years and retirement. By the early 2010s, Rolando Meriño's playing career began to wind down. As he entered his 30s, injuries, particularly to his knees and back, began to take their toll, limiting his mobility and endurance behind the plate. Though his bat remained effective, his defensive prowess, once his most defining feature, started to decline. Meriño played his final season with Ciego de Ávila in 2016. Though he was no longer the dominant force he had been in his prime, he still provided leadership and mentorship to younger players, helping to develop the next generation of Cuban catchers. His experience and understanding of the game made him a valuable asset to his team, even as his physical abilities waned. Upon his retirement, Meriño remained involved in baseball, taking on coaching roles and mentoring young players. He was particularly focused on helping develop new catchers, teaching them the nuances of the position that had made him so successful in his career. His post-playing career and coaching allowed him to remain an integral part of the Cuban baseball community. Legacy and influence. Rolando Meriño's legacy in Cuban baseball is marked by his contributions to both his club team, Ciego de Ávila, and the Cuban national team. As a player, he was known for his work ethic, leadership, and strong defensive skills, particularly as a catcher. He was an integral part of one of the most successful eras in Ciego de Ávila's history, helping lead the team to the Cuban National Series championship in 2009. Meriño's achievements were not limited to domestic competitions. His international success with the Cuban national team helped elevate his profile beyond Cuba, and his leadership on the world stage made him a respected figure in international baseball. His ability to manage pitchers, combined with his solid offensive production, made him a key player for Cuba in various international tournaments. Even in retirement, Meriño's influence on the game remains strong. His dedication to coaching and helping the next generation of players ensures that his legacy will continue to shape Cuban baseball for years to come. As one of the finest catchers in Cuban history, Rolando Meriño remains an icon in the sport, known for his contributions both on and off the field.